What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on another glorious and well-deserved day off. I have the audio problem fixed. Yay for that. And I am learning more and more about what I do. Patreon has now been moved from my mistake of how I categorized it to the actual version, so that should be live as this video rolls out. That link in the description is how you find anything to help and support this channel. Everything you do, I appreciate, guys. It means a lot to me when you use those links to purchase your next Freedom implement to make your life more safe and better. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to do a video, not necessarily as clickbaity titled as some that I have seen, but it is important for us to talk about this. We're going to look at my top 5 things, not necessarily items, but things you should be stocking up on, because after all, it is now peaceful protest season. Fact, right? So it's that time again, right? It is the peaceful protest season, the summer of peace, love, and tranquility that leads into every election cycle that we seem to have had as a country, which is kind of telling for how far we've fallen as a country. But let's talk about those things. And no, I'm not going to tell you to go buy guns. That's a given. You should want to own more guns, America, right? But I am going to talk about some other stuff. So first up from that one, what are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about magazines. These guys. Or these guys, right? Magazines. The things that feed our firearms, either AR, Mini 14s, AKs, SKSs, which you would need stripper clips there, AR-10s, Glocks, SIGs. I don't really care what you picked, but these things keep them operational. They are also expendable, have a life expectancy, and while we can maintain them by replacing the springs, they are not guaranteed to last forever. However, there's another problem with magazines. There's very few things that we as gun owners have as personal possessions that can be subjected to the whims of a career politician as much as magazines, right? We see it all over the country, right? Colorado, you can't have a magazine with more than 15 rounds in it. California, it's a 10-round ban. You go to the other place, you can't have this, you can't have that. It is an absolute, it is a tragedy that all over America we can't own standard capacity magazines, because that's what this is. This YouTube is a 29-round magazine. This is a standard capacity magazine. Fact, right? This is a standard capacity 17-round Glock 45 magazine. It is a tragedy that you can't own those simply because you live in a place that you may not be able to leave. But there is absolutely no reason that you should not be stocking up on them. These things are really inexpensive, man. We can pick up magazines for $7, $8, $10 a piece. There is no reason not to add 1 to 2 to 5 on every order. Palmetto State Armory, link. They always have deals. In fact, that's usually how I buy my Gen 2 PMags. I will buy them 10 at a time with free shipping for about $8 a piece. It's a thing, right? We can do that. Glock mags go on sale all the time for $16 to $18 for a full capacity magazine. Please stock up, because without these things are, well, rocks or sticks. So magazines. And they are constantly at the whim of politicians that absolutely know nothing about what they are trying to ban. It's just a buzzword. Number 2, that is ammunition. If we do not remember what took place in 2020, ammo disappeared. It was completely gone. Yes, I know that was in addition to the vid. It was also the summer of peace, love, and understanding, with riots breaking out, or I'm sorry, peaceful protests breaking out all over the country all the time. However, ammunition dries up, and it doesn't just, and the thing is, we kind of do this to ourselves because somebody on TV, like, nothing that we use can be impacted by political whims, but honestly, it's more impacted by us being unprepared, like ammo. It's true. If you don't have a bunch of ammo and something happens and ammo becomes harder to get, the first thing you're going to do is get on Bearly.com, affiliate of the channel, like that plug, and go pick yourself up a few cases of ammunition, right? Because you're concerned it may not be there when you go to buy it the next time. And that's a rational concern. The problem is, when the millions of us do that at one time, there most certainly is not ammo. And what happens the first time you go on to Bearly and all that ammo is gone? Well, the next time you check on it and it restocks, we're all over it. That increases the prices. It also ensures that we are constantly behind the curve as far as having ammunition that we can readily purchase. We've finally gotten to an area where ammunition is more reasonable. It's nowhere near what it used to be, but it's also readily available and I can find it and purchase it. There is no reason now that you shouldn't be trying to put away more training and more specifically defensive ammunition on a regular basis. That should be something we strive for every payday, is putting away some ammo. After that, number 3, wear parts, man. I just talked about guns last forever, right? Those wear parts, those things that we know can fail, will, and cease working sometimes in firearms, barrels, bolt carrier groups, action springs, a trigger, having the tools in which to maintain those things. For Glocks, it could be the recoil guide rod assembly. It could be any of those things, but they can and do fail. I'm not going to tell you to run out again and go buy guns, because we should all be striving to do that anyway. But having those parts that can keep our firearms running for longer is a much better option for us to be doing, because those parts dry up shortly after the guns. We can't find the gun we want. Like, that's when the parts start drying up too. So now is the time. Be putting away some parts. If you were looking to start that next build, you would probably be better behooved to figure out what big parts you need and go for those, to get them already on in hand or at least ordered, so that we don't get caught wanting. After that, number 4 is going to be load bearing equipment and gear. That is your plate carriers, your belts, your chest rigs, your plates, pouches, backpacks. Now, here's the thing. If you remember in 2020, armor was all but unobtainable. It just disappeared from all over the thing. And then constantly we hear about politicians trying to ban things like body armor because no civilian should have it. BS, man. As a civilian, as a citizen of this great country, you should have everything the United States military has. Because the stupidest thing we ever did as a country was allowing elected politicians to tell us that we were too unsafe to own things that our government can have. That was a bad idea. We should have never done that, and probably one of the biggest failings of Ronald Reagan. So we should own all of it. You should have armor. You should strive for armor. But now is that time. I don't recommend building out like all of your kit. Like, let's not buy 5 plate carriers. You don't need 5, but odds are 3 other people might need plate carriers. But have your gear set up. Now's that time. Make those final preparations we need to make sure that you have plates, a good fitting, well-sized, works for you plate carrier. We want to have that stuff because that gives us some safety. As well as battle belts, holsters, chest rigs. Now's the time to get that stuff because it's readily available and plentiful all over. And if you've noticed kind of an order of these are the things that disappear first. Number 5, food, water, medical, maintenance. Not maintenance for your guns. You should already have all that. I'm talking about maintenance for your household and you. So what do I mean by that? Trash bags, toilet paper, paper towels. You need to have that stuff already. If you're one of those people that live in a place with very hard water, which is new for me, water softener, right? You should have that stuff so that your life isn't impacted and it doesn't derail itself. Because if we all remember the summer of peace, love, and tranquility, toilet paper was hard to find. But in addition to that, you need to be working at medical and water. And the thing is, if you're just getting started on this journey, this is a really good place to start. From bottled water to gallon jugs to 5-gallon jerry cans full of water that you can treat, get water. Start storing that up because you will not make it very long without water. After that, we're going to talk about food because, again, you will die. You're not going to be a scavenger. You're not going to go raid places to get food. If that's the case, well, you're a taker, and takers end up getting dealt with pretty harshly by people that did have the forethought in which to keep their own stuff to prepare for their family. So don't be an idiot. Don't be a taker. Do your work right now to put yourself ahead of the curve. And when FEMA starts saying that we should have 7 days worth of supplies in our house, you should probably have at least 7 days worth of supplies in your house. But that doesn't mean go out and buy all of that processed BS because you don't know how to cook. That's a failing at you, not a failing on the system. But flour, rice, beans, meat, dehydrate meat, freeze meat, smoked meat. Do whatever you've got to do, from dehydrated meals all the way to processing your own stuff for canning and jarring. We need to be working at that. And this isn't something that I feel like most of my audience hasn't thought of, but this is just a friendly poke reminder from the guy that talks guns and gears a predominant amount of the time, that we still need to be putting away more food, water, supplies for our normal everyday life, and most importantly, medical. Because I hate to break it to you, it's really cool that we got some extra antibiotics and we put away Tylenol and all that stuff. Diarrhea will kill you pretty quick. And if your diet changes pretty rapidly, diarrhea will make that a very quick trip. So we need to have that stuff. Pepto, some Imodium, have those kinds of medications. If you've got littles, Tylenol, allergy medication, head cold, runny cold, because nobody wants their kids to suffer. So have some of that stuff for your kids as well. This I put into here specifically because Magic Prepper, if you guys don't follow Magic Prepper, sorry, where have you been? That guy's awesome. I've been following Magic for a while. I love the information he puts out. I love the fact that he is open and honest about the fact that, hey, dude, this isn't my wheelhouse, so I don't know this. So I learn from everybody, much the same way I do, man. I learn from people all the time. He brings up stuff that I've never even considered of, and I think it's awesome, so I research it further. But Magic had a video of the places you don't want to go after it goes wrong, and I can absolutely promise you that den of iniquity and culture that you have wanted no part of, known as Walmart, is probably the place you don't need to go when everything starts going bad because you don't have toilet paper. So let's fix that now, okay? Just a friendly poke to do what you need to do. But a bonus point, and this is the most important part of this entire conversation. Don't freak out and buy cheap crap. Don't buy stuff you never ate in your entire life. Here's the thing. If you hate rice, it is not the time to buy 50 pounds of rice because Freedom said rice is a staple. If you don't eat it, it doesn't do you any good. Also, if you can't cook, I would work on figuring that shit out before you go buying a whole bunch of crap, because your inability to cook is going to kill you a whole lot faster than your lack of diversity in food, right? Don't freak out and buy cheap gear, plates, guns, ammo. This is not the time. I'm excited you bought 10,000 rounds of ammo that only cycles 30% of the time. However, that's a bad idea, right? I'm super excited that you finally bought 3 additional handguns to arm other people, but you bought 3 additional handguns that are unreliable. This is not the time that we do that. Don't freak out. Don't panic buy. This is not a panic buy. As I've told you guys all the time in this channel, we should be planning everything that we do. That is how I spend my money. I plan, I evaluate, and then I take care of what I need to take care of. And you should do that too. You may just have to move at a higher speed if you don't have some of this stuff. Don't freak out, don't panic buy, and above all, do not buy cheap, substandard, ineffective stuff just to say you have it. I see this all the time. But I bought Spartan armor because now I've got armor. You have a target strapped to your body that can and will fragment off the front. Again, it's not spalling. Spalling is when steel comes off the back of that armor into your body. We were talking about fragmentation. Do not buy cheap equipment that is ineffective solely to say you have it, because what you have now purchased is a false sense of security that can and will get you killed if you choose to rely on it. Don't buy it just to say you have it. Do some research, buy what you can. Highcom is an excellent company for armor. They are not as expensive as most. Apex Armor Solutions, another great company. If they have it there, that stuff is almost always NIJ certified. But do not buy cheap, subpar, ineffective equipment just to say that you've checked that box and you have it. That is a dangerous place that we get into as Americans, which is checking that box and looking for that Instagram clout. Take a moment, prioritize, plan it out, buy what you need, move from there. So guys, hopefully you found this informative. I typically don't do videos like this, but we are moving it, through the summer of peace, love, and we are fast approaching peaceful protest season. And given the events of yesterday on July 13th, I don't expect things to get better. I expect them to get much worse. So plan accordingly. Take care of yourself accordingly. So guys, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, because we is all we got. And you need to remember that. And until next time, I'll see you later.